Take a look at shares of Take-Two Interactive today, up 11.5%. The company reporting a first quarter earnings beat with Grand Theft Auto 5 selling nearly 100 million units now since its launch. Strauss Zelnick is CEO of Take-Two Interactive. He joins us here exclusively at Post 9. Good to see you.
Thanks. Nice to be back.
Grand Theft Auto 5, sales approaching 100 million units. You actually upped your guidance in part due to the strength of that title. You launched it almost 5 years ago. I mean, one of the things we've seen in gaming tends to be a very short shelf life for hit games. How have you managed to keep it so popular for so long?
So the entire industry's really been transformed, and I wish we could say it's just us. It really isn't. When you have a hit title, we have now found that you can engage and captivate consumers on an ongoing basis. So titles that used to be in the market for a month or 2 months or 3 months can extend almost for a year, or in the case of a big hit like Grand Theft Auto, many more years than that. Basketball, for example, used to be a pretty short seasonal game. Now our fans will stay involved and engage with NBA 2K for nearly the full year, and then they have an opportunity to buy the next season.
Do you equate it to film franchises? I mean, we got Mission Impossible 6 is an enormous hit. That goes back 20 years. Is it analogous to that or not? There
are some similarities. What we've said is our goal is to create permanent intellectual property. And the example we use is actually Mission Impossible is fine, and the movie that I expect to see that movie this weekend. I hear it's great.
Yeah.
But we use the example of James Bond. But James Bond, when it comes back, has to be great. And a couple of the Bond movies weren't great, and then we don't see them, and we run the risk of hurting the franchise. If we focus on making the best entertainment each time over and over again, which is the mission of our company, then a franchise can actually be immensely valuable.
The other franchise that analysts are very, very focused on post-earnings is Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm focused on it too.
which is due out, I think, in October. I know investors are looking for more details in terms of the launch for the online materials around this, what marketing is going to look like. Can you give us any details?
Well, Rockstar Games has a unique approach to marketing because their titles are so widely anticipated. So our strategy is, look, we want to have the best, brightest, most creative people involved with Take-Two at all of our labels, all of our companies, and then we encourage them to pursue their passions, and we give them an enormous amount of independence. So there'll be more details coming from Rockstar, but what Rockstar has said is the release date is October 26th. There will be an online offering. It's widely anticipated, and the assets that we put out in the marketplace so far have generated enormous attention and are absolutely spectacular to look at.
All the rage right now, Fortnite. It just seems to be unstoppable in terms of its growth, and also, according to some analysts, how strong the operating margins are. Have you spoken to that company? Have you looked to do any kind of partnership or licensing or even acquisition with them?
Well, let's just say I don't think they need us right now. They're doing just fine by themselves. We do know them. We have a high regard for them. It's a relatively small industry, and I was chairman of the industry in the industry association. I serve on that board, so we definitely know each other. They've done a great job with the title. Our view is it's brought new players into the market. We think that's, as those players age and grow up, we think they'll be interested in some of the mature titles that we offer. And while I wish we could say we've cornered the market on hits, we have a very high market share of hits. Cornered the market, we have not yet done. And the business is big enough and robust enough that we can have more than one hit title at a time. For example, Fortnite was booming, and yet Grand Theft Auto Online had another record year last year.
So people are is it more people gaming or people gaming more, or both?
It's both. So right now, if the media day in America is 22 hours, I know that's shocking. Obviously, we're parallel processing because we do like to eat and sleep. Video gameplay is only about an hour and a half of that. Television's about 5 hours. We have plenty of room to grow, and we are growing. Also, our cohort, the average age is about 37, older than many people would think. The male-female split.
That's my husband right there.
Right, exactly. It's 55-45 is nearly even. As people age, they continue to consume the entertainment they loved when they were 17. They don't give it up. So as our audience grows with age, they're going to stay devoted to video games.
Interesting. Macro challenges. I saw Forex mentioned in some of the write-ups, but is that significant? Is it wage pressures on hiring programmers, something else right now?
We don't have wage pressures. Our industry is a high-paying industry because we're hiring incredibly talented people. There just aren't enough of them, and that's one of the challenges for us and our competitors. We constantly are hiring more people. We now have 4,300 people at our company. Now, given our revenue base, around 2.7, 2.8 billion in net bookings this year, it's not that many people, and virtually all of our work is done internally. But we could easily hire another 1,000 people if they were capable. So we don't have wage pressure. We do have sort of intellectual pressure, finding the right people. In terms of Forex, it's not meaningful to us. We have a hedging policy. It does affect us, but in a small way.
Any macro challenges that you are eyeing in the back half of the year? Or 19?
It's just so hard to call such a long recovery and what will happen. And while I would love to tell you that entertainment is counter-cyclical, it really isn't. People will still show up for entertainment they love, but after the 2008 financial crisis, entertainment got hit too. And in the Great Depression, the conventional wisdom is, all the entertainment companies did great, people went to the movies. No, they didn't. Many of them went bankrupt. So to the extent that there's a change in our overall economy, we will be affected. The good news is we're an incredibly conservatively managed company from a financial point of view. So we have right now about 1.1 billion in cash on the books and no debt.
Net bookings, I know the vast majority for you are coming from digital now. Right now,
right now it's catalog.
Okay. Because my next question is, at what point do you stop seeing actual hard games be sold in brick and mortar shops like GameStop?
Well, for a frontline release, like a Red Dead Redemption that is expected to do very well, physical distribution will still be the lion's share of our distribution, and retail is still a very important partner to us. You're right, digital distribution is growing as a percentage of our net bookings, particularly because most of our recurrent consumer spending is digitally delivered. And so when you're engaging post-release in an online offering, obviously that's digital distribution. Downloadable add-on content obviously is digital distribution, although we will issue discs that have that content usually at some later point.